Okay, so let's go to Google Scholar, which is where I like to start for doing any sort of academic research. I start with Adele's topic. And maybe she wants to do um, perceptions. I don't know what your keywords are going to be. Um, but here, I just wanted to show you guys how you guys can use Google Scholar to start doing research on your topic. So let's look at her research topic. She is looking at attitudes. Now this is an old one. So one thing that you can do, she wants more recent topics, so more research articles, and I'm surprised that more aren't popping up. Maybe if I narrow down, maybe if I do attitudes instead as a keyword. These are old. I'm surprised. Anyway, what you can do, even though this study is from 2005 and it's going over stuff from 1860 to 1914, which isn't really what she's looking at, but it might be a good starting point. Who knows? She can look at who else has cited this topic, and maybe studies that follow this pathway just use a different terminology. So maybe biracialism is like a trendier definition, or multiracial. It just depends on whatever term most people are using right now. So that might be another way to look it up. But one way you can use Google Scholar, and I was telling people in class on Wednesday that sometimes people will have articles posted right online where I could download this PDF right here. Other times, if you're logged into Towson, or if you're using a Towson computer, or logged in over a VPN, it'll pop up right here so you can just grab the article, which is nice. But like this one, it's going to go to EBSCOhost. I don't have a copy of the PDF listed over here, so I would have to look up this article, but it would give me a good starting point where I could say, okay, I'm going to look in Native Studies Review 2005 by this author, this volume, this issue, so on. But one of the cool things about Google Scholar is you can see who has cited this article. So you can click here, and if you want, she could save this in her Google library so she could read this article later. The citation aspect is kind of cool too, where it'll say, okay, do you need an APA or MLA format? And they've already got it done for you. So that's kind of cool. But you can also see who has cited this article since she got started. So let's see who has cited it. I am surprised that there hasn't been more interesting research on this, and that it's so old. This might be a potential one. I don't know. We will see. But if you click here, like this is just an example. I don't know if it's going to be a good article or not. But this might give you a good starting point. This looks like somebody's dissertation or thesis. But she might have good resources in the back. So anyway, I will copy and paste this and email this to Adele. But one of the things I tend to do is I will skim through their lit review, see if there's anything good that I could use for my own research, and then also skim their references to see if anything has been written recently that I might be able to follow up. We will see. I'm kind of surprised that you might have to look up different definitions, and that might provide more information. I'll keep looking, but I'll keep looking and see if I find anything good to get you guys a starting point. But you might be able to look at, I can't believe there's not an abstract for this paper. she might be able to skim the abstract of this paper and look at, okay, this study uses a survey, so maybe I'll use this for my article grid or something like that. But hopefully you should be able to find what how your topic has been studied before. So maybe like, since this doesn't seem to have a whole lot of research on it, especially recently, maybe it's only using things like textual analyses or um, uh, case studies and things like that. So that's just a starting point. Let's try something else. Biracial identity. That might be another keyword. Um, this might be a good one. Anna has been cited by a lot of people, cited by 368. Yeah, this is much better. Okay. Okay, sorry you had to wait so long. Um, the development process of asserting a biracial, bicultural identity. So this might be a good one, even though it's 20 years old. She might be able to say, hey, this is how people were asserting identity in the 90s, 20 years ago. What does it look like in 2014? So that might be a good starting point. Um, this is interesting. Okay. This is much better. So the like, even though it's not as a technical of a term, so you might have to be able to define like what does biracial identity mean? Does this mean how people identify with other people in their family, their community, their schools? Is it feelings of comfort? Is it feeling like comfortableness with different people based on similarities, interests, whatever. She's going to have to be able to operationalize how she is defining identity in this aspect, because that's one of those slippery definitions where identity to me might mean one thing and identity to another person might mean another thing. So that's just an example. So, but this is a decent starting place. I will I'm gonna send this search. That way you can skim through these different articles. So we will see what we can do. Okay? But hopefully that's provided a decent starting point.